Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 10 Japanese destroyer, Shimakaze. It has 6 main guns, 15 torpedoes, 28 AA guns, a surface detection of 5.9 kilometers, top speed, 39 knots, total hull 17,900. For my modules, reduced crit chance on torpedo tubes, faster torpedo aim, faster rearm of the torpedoes, lower chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift, and concealment. For my commander, situation awareness, lower cooldown on torpedoes, superintendent, last stand, and concealment again. We are on the map Ocean, and this is the second or third battle in this particular ship. My friend Poimane was kind enough to donate to the cause, so I was able to scrounge up a couple credits to purchase this particular vessel. Now, I am a newbie with it. It has way more torpedoes than any other Japanese destroyer, bar none. 15 torpedoes in the water is a little weird for me. Should I send them all? Should I hold one back? Should I send them all tight together, spread them out? All these things need to be considered. And I'm just not there yet with my strategy. I moved my Kagero commander up to the Shimakaze. I also moved my modules. But other than that, I haven't done anything on this particular ship. So I headed the northeast side of the map, away from my team. I wanted to ambush some enemies. Enemy Shimakaze, for some reason, doesn't have concealment module or the skill. It's very awkward. Enemy Gearing doesn't have one of those two. And I'm able to scout both of them. Now he's getting too close, and I realize this, I pop my smoke. I do have torpedo tubes that I can send at the enemy, but I don't really have a good target over here. It looks like most of the enemy ships are headed to the southwest side of the map, and that is not helpful. I kind of find that the longer the torpedoes are in the water, the less chance they're going to make contact with the enemy. Although there is the occasional random strike on an enemy that wasn't paying attention. I don't know how they could allow themselves to be hit by a torpedo. And this Gearing is smart. He's trying to push me back. He wants to try and ambush me. He's not afraid of me at all. He shouldn't be. The Gearing is a far superior destroyer in this particular situation. 1v1, there is no contest. So I'm going to get away. I don't feel comfortable around that. Obviously, I sent out my torpedoes. You know, maybe they'll hit, maybe they won't. I do not have the upgraded torpedo systems that are available on this tier 10. It was a little weird to me. They do more damage, but they move slower. I don't know if I would go for that. And it doesn't look like the target that I had in mind is going to be hit by these torpedoes. Everyone has moved away into giant bunches on the southwest side of the map. And I just chose poorly. I chose the wrong side of the map. I don't want to fight the Gearing, so I'm going to try and retreat back to my friendly team. The friendly destroyer has already done that. So I'm out on a limb, and there's the Gearing. Of course, he's pushing aggressively. He spots me just barely. I am not going to fire. No matter how much you try, Gearing, I will never fire at you. I want to drop off, which I do. He misses with all his shots, of course. He hits one shot, and it's able to take out my engine. I do have last stand, but I'm going to use my damage control. He does sustain a little bit of fire from friendlies. Fantastic. And I would love them to keep up the pressure. Probably take him out. It forces him to use his smoke. So now he's not going to be inclined to continue the pursuit. I am going to try and head to the southwest side of the map with my team. We've already lost 2 friendly destroyers. I don't know how you die, by the way. All you're trying to do is scout the enemy, provide intel. You don't want to be caught. You don't want to die. Friendly Kagero appears to be sending out his torpedoes. Maybe he'll have more success than me. We do have our torpedo set, but I do want to use it on that south side of the map. So the Shimakaze, what do I think of it right now? Well, its gun systems are much better than the Kagero. I was able to take a Kagero 1v1 and remain very healthy. Like 60 to 80%. So I didn't feel any threat by that particular ship. I do feel threatened by US destroyers. Even Soviet destroyers are very scary. Now, I don't know about the build itself. I did invest in a faster torpedo aiming because I felt like obviously the torpedoes are your bread and butter. if you can get him in position a little bit quicker, it's an advantage. But honestly, it feels like most of your torpedo drops should be from a safe distance. You shouldn't have to deal with extremely fast torpedo movement. Enemy torpedoes in a super widespread come towards me. The friendly Kageto is successful with 2 torpedoes, right? Yeah, 2 torpedoes make contact, destroy his engine, and he's dead in the water. And yeah, everyone focus this guy down. It's an Amagi in the open with a damaged engine, and I don't know why he's not repairing it. I can't imagine him having used damage control recently. I don't know why he would. And I was considering sending torpedoes on this target. Now I am, of course, still headed over to the south side of the map. That is my focus. I have to give that side of the map some support. I don't want to fire my guns. I don't want to let people know exactly what my intent is. I would like my team to follow up and finish the target. And it looks like he's taking some pretty significant damage. Friendlies are expecting him to move, but he's not. You can clearly see that his engine is knocked out. So you don't want to lead too much. Oh crap, we run into a Fletcher, but this Fletcher is rather low. I can take a Fletcher this low. He engages me, I engage him. He knocks out one of my guns, and I'm able to do pretty significant damage. I believe a friendly helped me, and we're able to follow it up and finish him off. And we're taking a lot of fire. We're out in the open. Didn't expect to run into the Fletcher there. I don't know why he would move that direction, and we pay for that. Oh man, just inconvenient. I'm still trying to get used to exactly where I should be with this particular ship. Should I be on the primary flank? Should I harass from behind? So now that I'm in this area, now that the torpedoes actually can get to the target, we send one at the indicator, one halfway forward, one halfway back, hoping to clog it up, possibly get 1 or 2 strikes on the enemy. They're bunched up. That was my thought process. But admittedly, having played more of this ship, and even learning more from this particular game, it's probably less ideal in a bunch of ships to have overlap, because there's less chance that you're going to accidentally bump into one of them, or 2 or 3. There's a lot less area of the ocean covered up by having such a massive overlap. So what was very effective later on was for me to have one at the indicator, one fully past the indicator, and one behind the indicator to cover a nice wide area of the ocean. You could see that a lot of these torpedoes are going to miss. Some of them look to be headed straight for the enemy, and I was like, yeah, this New Orleans, but he realizes it, he senses the threat, and he's able to avoid it completely. This Tirpitz is avoiding also, and it looks like he's only going to be able to run into one. And one's going to do pretty good damage, though. 15,000, causes flood. Most likely he has damage control. Yeah, he's not flooding. So look at the enemy Shimakazes. They're just littering the water with torpedoes. And that's what I need to do. I don't need to do the overlap unless it's 1, 2 ships. And there's an enemy destroyer on the map. Do you see that? And I didn't recognize, oh, I don't want to be this close to an enemy. I run right into him. I don't have my smoke. I am very, very vulnerable. I was actually surprised that he popped his smoke so early, because he's denying himself information. He's the only one who can scout me. Yes, you're threatening your ship, but you're pretty healthy. What if you were to take me out? So it was an interesting choice. I didn't need to use my smoke. He's going to deny the site himself. And now that I'm ahead of this pack, they do have an idea that there is a possibility of an enemy destroyer. And this is what I was talking about. Full-length torpedo attacks on the enemy might have been aimed a little imprecisely, maybe a little bit too much to the right side. But I was still a newbie. I've never had 15 torpedoes to send out. And I was just confirming, are those going away? Yes, they're going away. And I was bringing my friend, who only has a tier 8, into a tier 10, with the hope that I would get this video to share with you all. And it's not looking good, right? We are behind significantly. There was a lot of enemy ships on this flank, though. Perfect flank for a Shimakaze. I just wish I was better with the Shimakaze. We have a lot of friendly ships around us that are not as bunched up, primarily because those torpedoes... Oh! What did we kill? We killed a destroyer. How did we kill a destroyer? Oh, yes! Enemy turrets runs right into it. We get double strike. That New Orleans is able to avoid that torpedo. But we took 2 enemy ships out on that single flank. That'll help the team immensely. And the torpedoes are 40 seconds up from being ready to go. Now just look at the strategy. The Japanese destroyers are very passive. It's a very passive game. I think I actually destroyed the destroyer that dropped that smoke. It's an interesting location to be found out. It's very odd. The enemy Shimakaze sends his torpedoes. He's on the complete opposite flank. I really can't do anything about that flank. Ideally, you would have a US destroyer who would take on the enemy destroyers, while a Japanese destroyer tries to focus down cruisers and battleships at long range, try and make them maneuver. If they have to avoid a torpedo, perhaps they will set themselves up for a broadside attack. These are the things you must consider. Our torpedoes are ready to go. And now we have to decide. This New Orleans is a candidate. He's sort of moving away though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a wide attack path, very little overlap, hoping that I can do 1 torpedo strike on an enemy Montana, Otago, New Orleans, another New Orleans. That enemy Otago, the front one that is at 400 hit points, is going to die. I'm not going to reveal myself, even though I could theoretically. Friendly is able to take him out. And yeah, they're all moving off away from this. I just need to have better insight. Yeah, I'm not going to hit any with that one. A lot of the Japanese destroyer is just knowing what the enemy wants to do. But there is hope. This great big abyss appears to be staying a little bit too much, not paying attention. It looks like we could get a torpedo strike on him. Oh, this is going to be close. Come on back. No, no, he stops perfectly. Ah, just barely avoid that torpedo strike. We're still down, but we are back in this game. I'm down a turret, so if I'm found out, I'm probably done. I don't have the ability to do too much damage. This Montana is set up perfectly for the friendly Kagito. Enemy Otago, he's pretty healthy. Enemy New Orleans in the back. Don't know where the other cruiser is. And remember, there was a gearing and a Shimakaze on the eastern side of the map, probably still over there harassing my team. And I'm just looking at the Otago. Okay, maybe the Otago could be a potential target. I wanted to confirm that the friendly had success on the Montana. I don't want to run into any torpedoes, though. The Shimakaze gets a little too close. He's spotted out. The Montana takes some really good torpedoes from the Kagito. I am going to send 1 set at that enemy Otago. That Otago seems to be sailing a little lazy. And what do I mean by that? He's just not adjusting his heading that much. It seems like he's fully committed to pushing with the Montana. That could be his downfall. Maybe he's distracted. And it looks like we have good narrow spread on the target, although that 1 torpedo is a little outlier. But this guy's falling right for it. It's too late. He can't avoid it. And we take out the Otago. 10,000 points of damage. Enemy New Orleans right in front of us. He's very neutral, though. I don't know if I can send torpedoes at him effectively. Now, I would love for him to commit one way or the other. I'm waiting for that. Come on, New Orleans. Where are you going to go? Just show your side so I can send torpedoes out. He's trying to push me back, I think. He knows I'm in the area, roughly. So I need to be aware that there is a potential threat. And I also need to stop answering this message. Get back in the game, Notser. The New Orleans never really changes his course. He's not really a good target. He's actually backing up. Oh no, Notser, there's an enemy destroyer on the map. Pay attention, Notser. 3 or 4 seconds, right? And we popped our boost. I have to pop my smoke. I'm trying to hide. I check where the target is headed. I send 1 set. Probably not going to make contact. He's probably going to maneuver. And I know what he wants to do. He wants to come right at me, catch me in an awkward position and take me out. I am trying to give ground. I want to get my torpedoes in a position where I could make use of them. That's really the only hope. I cannot rely on my guns. I'm down on health 2. This was an awful location to get caught up in. Friendly is taken out at A. It's now 3-4. They have an advantage, and yep, he's coming ever so closer. We don't have the smoke billowing out anymore. He's gonna see us any second. And I'm just hoping, please don't change your heading. He's not gonna see this until it's too late, but he's still turning. No! And we're spotted. This is bad. We're right in between two ships. We can't really do anything. I'm hoping he'll turn back into it. Hindenburg, take him out. We're trying to get our guns going. Oh, just a huge shot. Have to use damage control. Stuff keeps going off. I keep losing my torpedo tubes, my gun tubes, and we're taken out. I just moved a little bit too close to the enemy. I needed to do a better job of focusing on the large pack of enemy ships. It is a different focus than the gearing. The gearing is great at existing on their own, fighting any destroyer that might show up, whereas the Shimakaze really likes to bully enemy big battleships and cruisers, and I would really prefer to take them out when they're bunched up. Now this Hindenburg has a chance. Yes, he takes out the Shimakaze. Okay, it's 2v2. An enemy ship is capturing A right now in the Kagito. Kagito can't get close. 90 hit points, really? What the Hindenburg has to do is start headed towards the cap. He also has to try and take out the New Orleans. And the New Orleans takes a huge shot. I believe it was from the Hindenburg. I don't think it was torpedoes. And I'm like, hey, you gotta work your way towards A. The Kagito cannot do it. He's way too low. And it looks like the gearing sent out torpedoes. Going over to the Kagito. He's able to avoid the first set. The second set, though. Oh, we gotta fit inside. We gotta fit inside. Can we fit? Barely. Oh, what? He's still alive? Oh, no. No, he's flooding. Ah, just a little bit too slow. He had a chance. He had to immediately use damage control. But obviously, who's going to think that the torpedo's not going to do actual torpedo damage and rely on the dot? Nobody's going to think that. There's 50 seconds left in this game. The Hindenburg is doing a good job taking the New Orleans out. He can't sustain a lot of damage, though. He's got to get this New Orleans dead. He needs to at least have the New Orleans dead with a lot of health. Is it this salvo? Nope. Yes. Okay, good, good, good. 30,000. Okay, 22,000. The enemy gearing's stealth firing. You dirty, dirty destroyer. Ugh. He lost another 8k. He lost 16k in that one little salvo from the New Orleans. That was huge. And the Hindenburg has 15 seconds to get this enemy gearing dead. I don't think the enemy gearing's going to allow him to kill him. His best chance is maybe to fire in the smoke, and that's exactly what he's trying to do, but it's just not going to work out. Man, so close. If we would have had those two destroyers up longer, I think we would have had a better shot at winning the game. It was just too much to ask two destroyers to watch all of the flanks. We got 4 kills, double strike, devastating strike, 5 torpedo hits. We earned 1,332 base XP. The Hindenburg on our team beats us by a single point. Very, very, very close game. We did around 60,000 points of damage. That's not really important. What is important is I let my team down. 2 of those torpedo launches were just never going to work out. I just didn't plan as effectively as I needed to. Hopefully I can improve. There will be more Shimakaze games in the future, of course. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.